Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm coming to you from probably many platforms right now. I wanted to make sure I get on a lot of my platforms that I have. Um, First, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This wonderful Sunday of September 17th. And I'm not going to be long, but I wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude and being thankful. For the last, I have to say, year now for myself, well, really, I'm going to back it up. For the last 4 years since COVID started, and then we kind of went going through that cycle of in the midst, I don't even know what it's called anymore, the outcome of COVID, whatever it is, whatever how you want to put it. But for the last 4 years, I've been really heavily on about being grateful and being humble and making sure that I'm surrounding myself not with just with my inner person, my heart, mind, and soul, of always remembering to be grateful for people that are in my life that are helping me, that are supporting me, and then also being humble enough so wherever level that I say I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, where God and Jesus takes me in my life, that I always stay humble, that I always stay thankful for what is given to me, because it doesn't have to be. I mean, it just doesn't have to be. And I just want to just chime in a little bit on that with everybody. Um, Probably the last 6 years, I I asked myself, I said, I want to do something. I want to create an impact because I know we're only on this earth for one time. And I don't want to waste my time anymore. Now, some people probably would have told me, well, Barbara, you're not wasting time. You've been working, you got your business and you've been helping women in business and you've been helping with their visibility. And, you studied and studied and studied to make your skills to a certain level so you can help individuals, just make sure that they're shining like a diamond, as I always say, and everything. You're doing all that, Barbara. You're doing all that. So what are you talking about, right? But I'm like, but it's bigger than that. Those are the tools. Those are the things that, is necessary to get to the point of creating an impact and being thankful through all the way. And when I asked myself, okay, I want to create an impact in life globally, not just in my little section, not in my little neighborhood, but globally. And I asked God, just put it all out there. I asked God, I said, how can I do that? First, God showed me, well, you got to check you first. You know me, if you heard me speak before and talk about things, I'm very open and very, I say I'm vulnerable because I want to make sure that I'm connecting with you because we're all in different places in our life. And I don't want nobody to feel like they're alone. If they messed up, if something didn't go right in life or whatever, if you're asking the question, why me, whatever. I mean, I've been through all of that and going to keep probably dealing with that. So we got to be real with each other. So I did ask God, I said, what do I need to do? I don't know. I really didn't know at that time. I just kept saying to myself, I want to create an impact. What do I need to do? And God said, you need to work on you. Just work on you. I got you. I got your back, Bar, but I want you to continue work on you. I want you to continue, learning my ways and how you said you want to be humble, you want to be caring, you want to connect, you want to help people, all that stuff I was saying. He said, I need you to just work on you, be humble, and watch me. Watch what I'm going to do. So, there's always different avenues. There's always different vehicles that's always out there. As soon as you start asking those questions about how you want to create an impact or how you want to be better and everything, well, one of the vehicles came in my life was an organization and a wonderful, amazing angel And I say, there's angels in your life that come in your life. And this particular angel, her name is Serena Buffalino. And she is, at that time, still is, over Help Heal Humanity. Now, you're probably saying, okay, Barbara, where are you going with this? Remember, I said before I even mentioned that I was looking for a way to create an impact in life globally. And there's certain vehicles, there's certain opportunities that come in your life that you have to look into and say to yourself, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this where I'm supposed to be helping? And with the organization Help Heal Humanity, I really, when I met Serena and I seen everything that she's doing, and she doesn't like just puts pictures up and say, okay, help here, these children here and everything. She's on the ground, boots on the ground, as they say, is what they want to say, in the villages, in the neighborhoods of Haiti, in the villages of Canada. I mean, she is out there rock and rolling. She works with children, and she does that on a consistent basis. And it's in her blood. And I was telling myself, I said, wow, it took me back when I was seeing how she was helping people that couldn't help themselves, that can't even go like maybe to their kitchen, because sometimes they don't even have a kitchen, and run water to get fresh water. They can't go down to the grocery store and buy food because there is none. And I started looking at me and more deeper and saying, wow. And then I went back, because one thing, with our stories, sometimes that kind of gives us that jolt. That was a jolt when I heard about the whole organization with the children. And then the other jolt brought back to my memory when I was at the age of 18. This is the time, it was a year after I graduated. My father passed a year before. It was just me and my mother. And we moved from a house to an apartment. Things were kind of going not right. My mother's business at that time, it was not going really well. I just graduated, so I was looking for a job, and I was going to school at night. Well, one thing that I didn't know, that my mother didn't tell me, because she probably was like, okay, how do I tell my daughter that we really don't have the funds? We really don't have the money. I can't even pay rent. So one morning I woke up with somebody banging on the door hard. I mean, very, very, very hard. And I was like, who is this? Boom, 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 boom. Like the police. Well, come to find out, it was the sheriff. It was the sheriff. Sheriff came to our door. Now, mind you, that time, like I said, 18 years old, just getting up, getting ready to look for a job, and getting ready to go to work, basically, because I went to school at night, and I'm hearing this big bang on the door. Threw some clothes on real quick, went to the door, 3 sheriff and 2 other police officers. And the first thing I was thinking of is, okay, I didn't do anything. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't do nothing. I don't know what. And they basically was like, ma'am, are you Sally Beckley? Or I said, oh Lord, now my mother, what does she do? So I was like, no, I'm her daughter, Barbara Beckley. And they said, well, in the next, he just like this. In the next, I'll give you 15 minutes. You are going to have to leave the premises, or we will start helping you leave the premises. And I was like, what? Come to find out, we was being evicted, because my mother found out all of that time, because he gave me the paperwork and everything, and said rent wasn't paid for 4 months. 4 months. Not 1, not 2, but 4. And in the back of the first thing I asked myself is, I got 15 minutes to get out this house. Well, my stuff is in here. Everything's in here. Well, what am I going to do? I even told her, I said, well, what do I do here? I don't have like a moving truck. I mean, I didn't even know this was happening. He said, ma'am, He said, we apologize for your disposition here, but you're going to have to leave because it's a court order. So I had to get whatever I could of clothes, put it in a suitcase, kind of dress a little bit better than just throw on some other clothes beside the house clothes. I mean, the robe I had and stuff, and get some shoes on, and basically leave the apartment where I lived at, where me and my mother lived at. Now, mind you, my mother wasn't there. She was still at the lounge. Come to find out, she was staying the night at her business. Because I'm thinking to myself, okay, did you know about this? And then you got me set, and I'm thinking to myself, did you set me up? Why couldn't you tell me something? Something. But at that time when all that happened, remember, 18 years old, just getting ready to go to work. Now I'm getting put out the house. And not only I got put out the house, but every belongings that we had, every clothes, every furniture, everything was thrown outside. And it's weird. I know you're probably going to say, Barbara, that's what you were thinking of, the first thing you were thinking about. And when I was seeing all of our stuff getting put outside, I was thinking to myself, I am so glad it is not raining. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I was thinking that at that time, but for some odd reason, I was happy that the sun was out. Maybe because I didn't want our stuff to get messed up and I can try to call a truck or whatever the case may be. I don't know. That was like the first thing that popped out. Then it got a little deeper after I got over that thing about the sun out and that's not raining. And then I told myself, how did we get here? How did this happen? For the first time in my whole life, I felt lost. And I felt, what am I going to do? Well, what am I really going to do here? I have nowhere to go. Family didn't have that much. We had that much family. My mother, I'm still trying to get her, couldn't contact her. I'm out here. People are watching. They're putting stuff out of our stuff. Didn't even know where my next place I was going to live. And I just thank God that my neighbors that lived above me were close, was a friend of mine. She was a friend of mine. And she's seen it. She was just coming from work because she worked at nights. And she's like, Barbara, what is going on? All your stuff. I said, they evicted us. And I didn't even know it was coming. And I can't even find where my mother is. I don't know where she's at right now. I've been trying to call her, let her know. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And I just started looking like in this daze. And my friend told me, she said, well, you can stay with us until things can kind of get, when you figure stuff out here. Thank God for that. And that happened within 3 hours after it happened, that somebody reached out and said, Barbara, we'll give you a place to stay. You're not going to be homeless. We don't want you to be out here homeless. And I was. I mean, at that time in my mind, when she said, you're not going to be homeless, it hit me. It hit me that I was literally homeless. I had no home anymore. I had nowhere to go. I had no address to say Barbara J. Beckley lives here. I was homeless. And I told myself after that day that I would always make sure, first of all, that I work hard, that I make sure I worked hard enough that I wouldn't be in this position that I was in that day. And then it brought me back to to the present day now, where I got hooked up with Help Heal Humanity, and I'm seeing these children and I'm seeing these mothers and dads in cardboard boxes. Don't know where their next meal is going to go. malnutrition, can't even get an education. They looked like they didn't have no hope because they didn't feel like there is no hope. And at that time, I felt like them. Now, mind you, I know they're worse off than I was at the time because yeah, a friend came and I was able to stay with them and get myself together and work on things and finally find myself a room because I had to wind up leaving her because I couldn't stay at her house too long because they had like 4 people living in their house. So I'm sitting there. In fact, when I stayed with her and I, like I said, humbly and thanking God, she let me stay with her, but there was no room to stay. I couldn't sleep nowhere. I couldn't lay nowhere. Couches were taking everything because she had 4 people in her apartment. Well, there was a big closet that can fit a person. And guess where I was at? Just to lay my head down. I went in that closet and laid my head. And I was just thanking my stars, thanking my God, saying, thank you for at least that I have somewhere to lay today. Because for 3 hours ago, I didn't know where I was going to lay my head. Imagine you going through that every day of your life. That's what the people in Haiti go through. That's the organization Help Humanity, dealing with the children. Children. I'm not even talking, okay, the adults, yeah, they're dealing with some stuff. It's hard for them. But I'm talking about the children that cannot do for themselves. That can't go out and get a job. That might not have a friend around the corner to say, okay, you can stay. Nothing. So I'm saying all this, and I'm going back to my question I had to myself 5 years ago, saying, how can I create an impact? Yes, I do help women in their business. Yes, I talk about visibility. Yes, I say how important to have a purpose in your life because everybody has a unique purpose in their lives. I talk about all that. You know, I could tell you my title, my business, and everything, and that's all well and good. But the biggest thing that's important is being humble and creating an impact to help another person get through another day in life. And that's why I signed up with Help Heal Humanity 4 years ago. And I told myself, I'm going to be a part of this organization. I have to step up. So I'm stepping up today. I'm stepping up again today. And I'm asking each and every one of you, next Saturday, because there's a Canadian Canada board organization, and then there's a US. I'm part of the US board for Help Humanity. And they're having a Bike-A-Thon next Saturday. So they're going to be doing a Bike-A-Thon for 4 to 5 hours. And we're trying to raise money for the children for food and for their education for this coming term. Now, there's a whole lot of need for them. And I know there's a whole lot of need in the US, and I get that. We got to start somewhere. And I'm starting somewhere. And this is where I'm starting at. And I'm asking you, just asking. It's not a demand to say, can you give? It's just $5. If it's just $2, I ask that you can give because those are children, you know, I keep thinking about the children that cannot do anything for themselves. So saying that, I have a link above here, and it's the link that was created for me doing this campaign. And now next Saturday is the Bike-A-Thon. They're going to be riding from, I forgot, within Canada. I think they're going from there to Niagara Falls, or they're going to be riding their bikes there. Well, I'm not there in person. Believe me, if I was there in Canada and I was riding my bike again, it's been a long time since I rode a bike. But you know what? If I was there, I'd get on somebody's bike and ride just for the cause, to make sure that we're working towards and supporting. So I'm going to end it by just saying again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you all the time for support me. I know sometimes you see me either speaking, or you see all these banners I put up, or you see I'm in a book, or you see somewhere that now I'm starting my own TV. Yeah, I'm putting a little plug out there for myself, a TV channel called Diamond Factor Network that's starting October this year. So if you want your own show, just talk to me and we can talk. But you see me doing all this. But the biggest thing that drives the force of all of that is I just want to create a positive impact. And the way I felt when I was 18, when I was homeless for those days, it was a few weeks of feeling that. I told myself, first of all, like I said, I didn't want to be in that. I was making sure I didn't want to be in that position again. And then I want to make sure that anybody that I can help, anything that I can help with somebody, if it's, giving my time, if it's getting money, whatever it is, so other people have to feel that way. I'm telling you, it was strong. It was strong. And this is the first time I told this particular. I always tell different stories of my life, but this is the first time I talked about my homeless situation. Because first of all, I wanted to make sure that it resonated, and second, I felt it was needed to be said. We all have our stories, our low valleys in life, and we learn from them. Well, hopefully, we learn from them. Let me just put it right there. You got to make that. You got to You got to ask yourself, am I learning from this situation that I'm in, or am I just using it as a victim mode? Being a victim and being playing the victim. And I can't stand being played the victim. I cannot. I always say, take your stories, use them as stepping stones of strength, and move forward and show people that there's hope. Make that choice, right? So I'm going to ask you to make the choice. And if you're willing, if you're able, if you're just open to it, I ask if you can give, because that link is for the US link, because we have one for Canada and then we have one for US. Well, me and another person, Christopher Roush, and he might see, I know he'll see this video. Hi, Christopher, if he's out there. If you look at the replay, he's on the board with me too, on the US board. So we're both really asking for this because we want to help. We want to make an impact, and you know what? I want to put it out there too. Say that you know other organizations that you believe in that close to your heart. It doesn't have to be, globally. It could be right in your neighborhood. There's so many nonprofits out there. There's so many people that are trying to help others. Just put that prayer out there to yourself. Put it in your heart and soul and say, what can I do? And sometimes it doesn't have to be money, because some people be like, oh, here they go again, ask for money. Sometimes it don't have to be money. Sometimes it's just your time. Sometimes it's just the skills, the unique skills that you have that people need to help another person get through life. Let's make that difference. Let's make that impact. If you have the goods, if you understand certain things, if you know a certain skill, share it out. Don't keep it hidden. Don't keep your talents hidden. It doesn't do you no good by keeping your own talents hidden. But it does so much, so much. It's so powerful when you take your talents, when you take your gifts, when you take your uniqueness, and you help others in their life to move that needle so they can turn around and say, you know what? I feel better today, and I feel like I can live another day because of you. So with that said, I appreciate you for listening to me. I appreciate you for giving if you are going to give. And I just appreciate you in general. I humble myself. Thank you for all your support every time that I come online, and every time I post something. You'll be seeing more of me. I always say it at the end, you'll be seeing more. This is not it. As I keep saying, I keep on moving and keep on grooving. But the biggest thing is, have a wonderful rest of your day today. Please reach out to me. I'm here to serve. I'm really here to serve. So please reach out to me and show the love, as I always say. Have that heart pumping. Love you much. You have a fantastic day. I'm going to put this down here too, just in case you don't see the link above, to let you know, just in case you want to give. Talk to you soon. You take care.